This is a montage of the changing stories on Jeffrey Epstein. Enjoy.
Bill Clinton.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein.
That island was really a cesspool. There's no question about it. Just ask Prince Andrew.
You say that the FBI has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like
you have the names. Like, he literally just gave 2 names. In my opinion, that's so bad. I mean, did you make this shit up? Or are you protecting them?
Evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list.
Yeah.
Why is the FBI protecting the greatest in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
Who killed Jeffrey Epstein?
This doesn't look right. It doesn't look like a suicide.
You know, Epstein's an intelligence asset for people in the Middle East, right? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, you sure of that? The person, let's say, is like, I'm absolutely sure of that. His plane and that island, the cameras, there's a big assumption out there that these videotapes were exclusively in the custody of Epstein. That's a huge mistake. The reason they wanted this story to go away is because there's an assumption like, oh yeah, Epstein had him. No, he wasn't the only one who had him, according to this source.
Now, that is what I said, to be fair. That's the only way I can make everything make sense based off of what's publicly available.
That's the only way any of this actually comes together and forms any sort of a story.
These assets, that's why this blackmail story makes so much sense.
You're
there are
lying.
A lot of people
I've
who
never
are
lied
knee
in
deep
my
the
life.
Washington swamp
Ever.
who are not telling
I
you
don't
the
do
truth
that.
about serious allegations out there that Epstein may have had video and audio of people out there doing
This
things
guy
they
really
shouldn't have been
fucked up,
doing.
huh?
And you should be asking yourself the question, how is it that all these people, the CIA director, the Obama fixer, Bill Clinton, all intersected paths with Jeffrey Epstein? Jeffrey Epstein isn't with us anymore, and nobody seems to want to talk about it.
Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
There's a lot of these,
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
Wow.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you know, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would, or at least
Do you think that would restore trust? Help restore trust?
Yeah, I don't know about Epstein so much as I do the others. Certainly about the way he died. It would be interesting to find out what happened there because that was a weird situation and the cameras didn't happen to be working, et cetera, et cetera.
I want to talk to you about the Epstein case. I have worked on this for years, trying to get those records of who flew on Epstein's plane and who helped him build this international human trafficking ring.
Absolutely, Senator. Child trafficking has no place in the United States of America, and I will do everything, if confirmed as FBI director, to make sure the American public knows the full weight of what happened in the past.
Release the list.
It's like that meme of like the dog with big muscles and then like the other meme of the dog that's crying and it's really small. That's like that dude before and after getting appointed. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Seriously, we need to release the Epstein list. That is an important thing.
Yeah.
The DOJ may be releasing the list of Jeffrey Epstein's
Sure
clients.
is, guys.
Will that really happen?
It's sitting on my desk right now.
It's embarrassing we need to self-censor word to make Karens upset. It's just a bunch of again, like you don't ever let, like I don't, the only words I don't say on stream are the ones that I will get banned for. I don't say those, not yet.
A lot of people are wondering, because you said
back.
last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk. When can we see them and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have, over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released.
What was this, like 3 months ago or something?
There are tens of thousands of videos of Epstein with children or child.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the...
So if there's so many videos, you're telling me nobody else was in any of these videos? It was all him the entire time?
The flights?
I don't know,
Are we going to
guys.
see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah, what you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
Along with his co-defendant.
Absolutely. And he had help. That's for
He
sure.
sure did.
But in this case, in Epstein's case, it is incredibly disturbing. We have flight logs, we have information, names that will come out.
Is it going to be shocking?
I don't see how it's not shocking that there were so many individuals.
This is actually crazy how big of a cover-up this is. I'm going to be honest. Like, it is shocking that it's this big of a cover-up. That's insane.
That were hidden.
What is this chain? What the fuck are you wearing? Really? This puts Rick Ross to shame. Oh my God.
And kept secret and not been held accountable.
White logs tied to accused
She a rapper?
trafficker
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein have been released to some conservative political commentators.
It's a jacket?
They walked out of the White House holding binders labeled the Epstein files.
There was an expectation that this was going to be bigger. You had the same expectation.
We all did. And the FBI handed over a couple hundred pages of documents. But, you know, Sean, I gave them a deadline of Friday at 8 a.m. to get us everything. And a source had told me where the documents were being kept, Southern District of New York, shock. So we got them all by, hopefully all of them, Friday at 8 a.m., thousands of pages of documents.
So let me get this straight. You were sitting around talking a bunch of bullshit about something you didn't even know about? So you were going and you were writing blank checks and you didn't even know what was in the account? Like, that's the best case scenario? You just sitting around making up bullshit?
Documents. I have the FBI going through them, and Cash is also, now that we have Cash here, it's a game changer, of course. And, you know, we're going to go through it as fast as we can, but go through it very cautiously to protect all the victims of Epstein.
Now, is that the only thing that will be redacted? Will everything else be made public?
It's always about protecting the victim. But you know what? We believe in transparency, and America has the right to know.
What we know.
Maybe we are losing our rights after all.
Is that this was a large network of high-profile, high-dollar predators who abused.
Well, what the fuck, though, right? I mean, if Bill Clinton, like, Donald Trump called them out by name, Bill Clinton and Prince Andrew, he needs to come out and say, why the fuck were you saying their name if you can't pin anything on them? That's ridiculous.
Untold numbers of minors. Only one person has been
This crap again? Yeah, bro, this is a bit, as I said, bro, I said I was going to talk about this shit regularly because this is a big one. This is a really, really big one, and I view this as an inoculation. I understand that criticism, people don't want to see criticism of, you know, Donald Trump because they like Donald Trump and they agree with him about a lot of things. But sometimes it's important to have that criticism in order to prevent yourself from going off course in the future.
Prosecuted for these crimes, and that is Ghislaine Maxwell.
What are you chasing? What? I'll tell you exactly what I'm doing. I think that continued, ongoing, unrelenting expectations, support, and demands for this information to come out publicly will eventually put enough pressure on the government that at least they will throw us a bone. They will at least give us a few customary sacrifice people. And I'll take that. At least, right? Like, at least we might not get the whole list, but we can have a few sacrifices, right? I mean, fuck. Yeah, I mean, just one that, yeah, we need some sacrifices. We do. It's not happening. You're delusional. Winning looks a lot like losing until you win. I think that you're probably right, but I think there's about a 10% chance that I'm right, and that's pretty good.
Video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge,
yeah,
don't you think you'd see it?
If you have access to it.
If I have it, period.
Right.
If I have it. If I have it.
Right. If you have it.
Right.
But you can't say that you have it.
Mm-hmm. No, we're giving you everything we have.
So far.
Everything we
Joe sees immediately, bro. Like, he knows what's going on.
have so far is
have you guys gone over all the video that's available?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what takes so much damn time.
Did Jeffrey Epstein?
Oh God! Name 3 things that don't hang themselves: planners, drywall, and Jeffrey Epstein. Jeez, this guy is a fucking legend.
Or did somebody kill him?
You're usually right by using logic. Nice. I wish you recognize those 5% instead of doubling down. Do a bare minimum research. Just in general, most people can't even do close to that. Usually right. Listen, if you want to complain about me being wrong about a certain topic or something like that, then just structure your question or your feedback around that topic rather than just making these abstract claims that I'm wrong and I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'll listen to responses, but I don't want to hear like some, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, what does that mean?
That's what I'm telling you. That's what takes so much damn time.
Did Jeffrey Epstein himself or did somebody kill him?
No.
Senator, I believe he himself in a cell in the Metropolitan Detention Center.
Are you going to release all the information about that?
Senator, we are working through that right now with the Department of Justice.
You said
that's not a yes or no, by the way.
Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. People don't believe it.
Well, I mean, listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, who's been in that prison system, who's been in the Metropolitan Detention Center, who's been in segregated housing, you know a suicide when you see one, and that's what that was.
He killed him.
If you know a suicide when you see one, then why don't you show everybody all the evidence that shows definitively that it was a suicide? If you're so certain that the evidence is so unanimous and so definitive that it will prove that it was a suicide, logically, releasing that evidence, everybody else with this same background will come to that same conclusion. You see what I'm saying? Independent autopsy?
Himself. You want me to get, I've seen the whole file.
The Epstein files. What's the answer to that?
The answer to that is the same as everything else. I'm not going to...
The same as everything else. Yeah, I mean, fuck. Like, that's crazy, right? Like, wow. No, nobody's going to jail. No.
Withhold information from the American public ever. But I'm also not going to rush to get it out there in a format in which they can't rely on it. So on the Epstein matter or any other matters, we are diligently working on that. And it takes time to go through years of investigations, years.
But I thought they just said a minute ago that you look through everything.
The Epstein files. What's the answer to that?
The answer to that is the same as everything else. I'm not going to...
Didn't he just say?
Listen, they have a right to their opinion, but as someone who has worked as a public defender, as a prosecutor, rely on it. So on the Epstein matter or any other matters, we are diligently working on that. And it takes time to go through years of investigations, years of political maneuvering, and years of cover-up to get the American people what they deserve. And that's what I'm going to give them.
I think that if he just said that, I'd have been fine. Like, I understand it takes a while, for sure. But, like, for me, this is like a top 3 issue. And it's not an issue because of what it's not an issue in and of itself. Like, there's all kinds of, like, awful, horrible things like this that happen all around the world. And really, Jeffrey Epstein doing this is like less than 0.01% of the amount of evil like this that's in the world. That's just the truth. You don't like it, that's fine. Look up the statistics. But the problem and the issue is that it's a mining canary. It's a mining canary, and it's a frame of reference. That's the problem. It's a litmus test. Yes, exactly. It's what it means, not what it is. Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, it's not. This isn't. I'm not vibe checking this. It's just it's a fact.
And you're going to get the video of the cell,
and you're going to see for yourself.
We do have video. It's not the greatest video in the world. I don't want to set expectations on fire. However, the video does show in that specific block that he goes in, made a phone call.
See, they need to reconcile the fact that they said that there were no videos. Why did they say there was no video? And now they're saying there's video. How did that happen? You see what I'm saying? What's a mining canary? So, this is a metaphor some people might not be familiar with. Miners used to use mining canaries, and a canary obviously is a very small bird, and it has a very weak breathing system. So if any sort of poisonous gases or anything like that is in a mine, it will affect a canary much more quickly than it will affect a human. So deadly gases and fumes will kill the mining canary or cause the canary to start behaving erratically. And that tells miners, oh shit, if we keep going down, we're actually going to be going into these poisonous fumes. So they're basically using the bird as like a, like if it kills the bird, it's going to kill me. And so as soon as the bird dies, I've got to leave. It sounds bad, right? Because of gas? Yeah, it's like an alarm system. Exactly. Yeah, like a scout, a gauge. Yeah, definitely. And so that's the reason. And so like what the metaphor of that is that it is an indicator not of what is, but what is to come. And that's the point that I'm making with this. It's not the fact that the canary did die. It's the fact that people could die if they keep going.
You'll see 12 hours of guards going to basically check on them, come back. You'll see no one really comes out in that bay, in that area, than him. There's no one in there. When you combine that with the other evidence we will be releasing in the coming weeks, we're still finalizing some of the products. I think it's pretty clear.
Overnight, the FBI and Justice Department releasing 11 hours of footage they say helps confirm notorious financier Jeffrey Epstein died by suicide in his Manhattan jail cell in 2019. But perhaps the biggest bombshell, investigators say they found no incriminating client list of Epstein's, no credible evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals, and no evidence that could predicate an investigation against uncharged third parties.
Alex Kosticki allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency.
What a bunch of bullshit, bro. Like, what a bunch of motherfucker. I can't believe this. Why they censor suicide?
Whether or not he did.
The reason why they censor it is because YouTube does stuff like that. I don't know how to formulate. MAGA has been awesome up until this, but this is really bad. What do you think people should do in terms of seeking proper governance and following election? What alternative to MAGA are there for DEI, BLM, and Antifa pro-trans kids movement? Well, here's the way that you should look at it. Every person has to make a value judgment on whether they want to take a idealistic, principled stance and refuse to choose the lesser of two evils, or vote for the lesser of two evils and play the game. Both of them have a lot of positives and negatives, but at the end of the day, in my opinion, I think the best thing to do is to just simply refuse to play the game. Do not play the game. Do not be tricked into accepting the lesser of two evils. The problem with this, that's kind of what I said before about like the Zoran Mandami, right? Is that I totally understood why people would vote for him because, again, like every other politician seems to be owned by fucking Israel, calling Israel the Holy Land. I'm sorry, but if you're a New York mayor, your Holy Land is New York City. It's outrageous that that's even a question. So whenever I hear about this, I'm like, just it's obvious to me to make that decision. But I also do sometimes choose the lesser of two evils myself. And so you need to make a decision when you think that is the right decision for you and not. Like, for example, in 2012, I really didn't like how Obama continued the wars. I didn't like how he didn't decriminalize marijuana. And I didn't like the fact that he didn't do a number of other policies that I thought he should have done. I was disappointed in Obama. And I also didn't like Mitt Romney either. So I voted for Gary Johnson, which was the Libertarian candidate at the time. And in other cases, like, for example, like 2020 and 2024, I didn't vote for either presidential candidate. For 2000, wasted vote? It wasn't a wasted vote.
It wasn't at all, because the idea. So voting in itself is the value. It's not like everybody who loses a vote wastes their vote. And here's another really important component. I think that it's like 3 or 5%. But if a third party in the United States gets to that threshold, it changes the funding regulation and the way that elections are needing to be held. So I actually think that, and I'm also like, I'm not like a big person like, oh, the two-party system is like the biggest problem ever. I think that obviously like every country has different politics systems, and every system has problems because the people are running the system and people are problems. So it doesn't matter. Like you can change, you can reimagine it. It doesn't matter. You're always going to have a way for somebody to fuck things up.
And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the set?
Yeah, sure. If I
Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second?
Yeah.
Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
I can't believe this.
That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration.
Look at this. List. They're sitting.
Nice guy. Got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey Epstein. At a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
Jeffrey Epstein.
This guy got a lot of problems coming up, in my opinion, with the famous island with Jeffrey.
What a bunch of fucking bullshit. What a bunch of horse shit. You believe that? Shout out to CoffeeZilla. It's on his second channel. He put these clips together. Go ahead and give the video a like. Give him a sub. The guy's a fucking legend. He almost has 1 million subscribers on his second channel, man. Just like a politician? Yeah, I guess so, right? All theatrics? It's all bullshit. I'll tell you that. It's extremely fucking frustrating. Voting Democrat next election? Here's what's funny. One of the most effective ways to make them do this is to say that you're going to vote Democrat next election or to vote third party. Because again, these people rely on other people's inability or unwillingness to burn down the system. In my opinion, that's how they control you. If you don't want people to control you, you have to be willing to burn down the system, metaphorically.